What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to take a look at these Warrior G6 leg pads that I have here in front of me. So, are these Carter Harts? Are they mine? They're mine. They are not Carter Harts. I know when I posted about these a little bit ago, a lot of people saw the embroidery, thought it was literally Carter Hart's exact pro return pads. However, I did that just to troll people. As you can see, I have a lot of custom gear behind me. I've ordered a lot of custom gear in my tenure. And honestly, I just kind of got tired of putting my own name on the gear. So I opted to get a set that looked like what Carter Hart would wear if he was wearing Warriors. So I decided to throw his name on the side of the pads just as a joke. So the actual spelling of the pads is in the Boston accent, if you will. It actually says H-A-H-T on the side. So I just kind of did that as a little troll, just in case someone ever thought they were actually Carter Harts. The embroidery is actually purposely spelled wrong. But yeah, so talking about the gear here, this is what I envisioned Carter Hart would wear if he did decide to go with Warrior leg pads. So I did a lot of white weave across the pad. I did a single orange stripe down across the shin, and it kind of wrapped around the outside of the knee roll as well. But first, talking about these pads, these are 32 plus 2.5. They have a rather tall thigh rise, which I'll talk about a little bit later. However, I know that Hart wears a 34 plus 2.5, so I just kind of want to mimic that look of the pads. So I went with a slightly taller thigh rise here. The pads do have a single external break below the knee, and I also did a two-piece core on the pad, kind of around the medium flex. So it's going to feel a little bit more like a G5 pad. This is actually my second set of G6s, and I'll talk about some of the changes I did before, but I wanted to go with a little bit more of a softer or more flexible style pad. So the first thing you're going to notice, as I've purposely been holding it this way the entire time, I want to show off the pad without the slide plates. So for me personally, I have used the slide plates on my first set of G6s. I did not use the slide plates on this set here. I purposely wanted weave material across the inside edge because I found the slide plates to be too much of a slide, too hard to control. I found that when I was dropping down into the butterfly, the pad would then kind of move out and have to kind of snap back into place. So I found just the slide is a little bit too much for me. That drop down is a little bit too much for me. I said it to a few of my friends before, but on like regular chest saves where I'm just kind of making a little bit of a lateral release, I would end up spinning and kind of moving out of the way just because the slide plates were so much. So I opted to get a pad that has weave on the inside edge here, and I took those slide plates right off. I know they're not for everyone. I know they're not for me, but I'd recommend if you're getting some Warrior G6s, just try it and see what you think about it. But looking at the rest of the pad across the back, I went with a lot of orange across the back just because, again, that's kind of what Carter Hart had on his. But I just kind of wanted to look like you have a nice little boring all white looking pad here, and then you get a little bit more party going on back here, so that's why I went with this. In terms of some of the specs and modifications I opted to go with the stock leg channel wraps. These are the stock lengths. On my first Warrior G6 set, they were short, which they would kind of stop, try to mimic it here with my hand, but from here down they were entirely removed, which I would stand there and look down and I would see my laces almost on my skates. They would move around so much, a little too much freedom of movement. So I opted to go with the longer, more stock length here. And then I went with my own kind of sling wrap. This is actually an old sample that I was gifted from Warrior a long time ago. This is just a really long sling wrap. It's actually what kind of would be like now the XL sling wrap. I threw that back on here just because it's a little bit longer, and that's just something I've kind of swapped back and forth on all of my Warrior sets. Next, I took the nylon strap out of the sling wrap here, and I removed the buckle from down here. The reason being is because this is one of my critiques of the Warrior pads is I purposely don't think that you should have a strap out of the knee block that angles so far down on the calf. This buckle is honestly about 2 inches above the boot break or the ankle break. I just think that's aggressively low. So I think that if you're going to be moving the buckle around, it should be just below the knee. I don't think it should be going that far down. So that is why I opted to leave it up here, just to try to control that top half of the pad a little more. Same thing with having that strap where I did not want to have it go so far down. I honestly wish that this Velcro was a lot more kind of moved up right here, just because I think it would kind of help control the top half of the pad a little bit more. But opening everything up, looking at the leg channel, the big changes that Warrior did here is they actually added an internal kind of upper calf strap here, or professor strap, whatever you want to call it. I really like this addition here. I think this is super beneficial on all leg pads, that they should come with this strap here. But seeing this strap here, it's really nice that Warrior added it on here. It just slides through the inside of the calf, and you can actually adjust the length if you would like. You can make it shorter, you can make it a little bit longer, a little bit tighter, whatever you kind of want to do there, you have that option. Speaking of that Velcro, I know that this is actually recommended to me by Kirk, that if you want to take this strap and try to get it a little bit tighter on the leg, or try to move up the Velcro a little bit, if you will, you can just tuck it on the inside right there. A few pro goalies do that, that use like a super tight fit leg channel. Saros is the first one that comes to mind, but that's something that you can do now as a little bit of an adjustment. The final spec, or modification I should say, that I did, on these pads, is I actually took this outer calf strap here, and I actually, a little bit tougher to see, but I just ran it through this little loop right here. So I cut some slits, ran the slit clips through, and kind of closed it off there, just because I wanted this strap to be a little bit longer. I found that it was too short, too tight to begin with, so that was what I did. Interesting note that I've noticed about these pads is, as I show you right here, you can actually see how this inside calf wrap actually flexes down. So I know that I already noted on my last set that I was using a shorter wrap there, and this one is the longer stock length. So maybe I should have kept this inside one shorter. Not 100% sure, but I just want to point out that this material is starting to flex down a little bit. Final thought and kind of note on the leg pads here is, I've owned a lot of Warrior pads throughout my entire life, a lot of G3s, GTs, GT2s, G4s, G5s, now 2 sets of G6s. I wasn't really expecting to have a harder HD foam leg channel. It kind of caught me a little bit by surprise. So having a stiff material across the leg is a little weird. You can actually see like the white exposed material here. I'm not sure exactly what the type of material is. I don't know the exact term for it. I just know it's hard. You could actually kind of like mold it if you wanted to. So maybe that's something I could do as well, but it is a stiffer material on the outside and inside of the leg. Just not something I was entirely expecting. One more thing I did want to point out across the knee area of the pad. I've already talked about the slide plates and why they're not personally for me. However, what I did want to call out is this new knee block integration that they have to the core of the pad makes it very stiff. Not quite as stiff as some Bauer pads or some of the new CCM Access 2s, where it's kind of a one-piece knee block or one-piece material there. This knee block still does run into the core of the pad, so it does make it for a little bit of a stiffer area. But I noted that the seal on the ice for this set was phenomenal. I found out I did not need to have the slide plates there, but the seal on the slide was fantastic without. But just want to show off this pad here. Again, already showed some of those leg channel specs, but next I want to talk about the Warrior G6 blocker and the Warrior G6.1 glove. Let's take a look. I'm probably going to say this in every single video I do. I'm trying to break that mentality of a blocker just being a blocker. I think a blocker is way more than being just a blocker, and I want to talk about why I went with the G6 blocker right here. Warrior does offer 2 blockers in almost identical graphics, also 2 gloves in identical graphics. There's the G6 and the G6.1. The G6.1 would essentially be your continuation of the GT line of gloves. So if you like the GT1, GT2, check out the G6.1 glove and blocker. But this is just the G6 blocker. Reason why I went with this is because I really like the G5 series of blockers that I had a little bit more than the G4 GT2s, so I opted to go G6 here. So it does offer the coverage plus, the same that the pads do have. However, it is more noticeable on the glove and blocker. So looking at the blocker here, just kind of turning it to the side, I'm just gonna place my hand where like the back of my hand sits inside of the blocker, and you're about right here. So you can see there's almost a full, at the top, about 4 inches of extra coverage, and internally you're looking at about 3 inches there. So once I put my hand in and show you, you can kind of see what I'm talking about right here. So this is where the blocker sits on top of my hand. You can see how far it comes off of my hand. And with the Coverage Plus idea that Warrior has instilled in their gear, that's essentially when the puck is coming towards you, the glove and blocker are going to fill out that box or meet the puck in front of you before you even reach out. So that is something that for me has actually been a little bit harder to get used to, which is why you see a lot of puck marks across the inside sidewall here. I'm finding myself that I'm reaching out too fast because the Coverage Plus is already sitting towards the puck. Then I'm extending my hand out and I'm actually rotating and getting my hand out before the puck should even be there. So that's why you're seeing a lot of puck marks right here. And honestly, I would even argue a lot of inconsistent puck marks across the entire blocker. As you can see, some of the other ones behind me, they like to kind of stay centralized up in this area here. Maybe not so much on the Bauer, but definitely more on the CCMs over there. But I'm noticing puck marks all across the blocker here, and I think that's a little bit more of my fault, user error, if you will. But talking about the other specs on this blocker, so the G6 does come with a fully replaceable palms. So I actually went with an intermediate palm on this blocker. I like the palms of my glove and blocker to be very tight right out of the box, and as I start to use them, I don't mind that they kind of loosen up, or as I sweat in them, they loosen up, stretch out a little bit over time, but I want to have nice and tight palms right out of the box. I want to be able to control everything, so I really have to like squeeze my hand in here. I'm filling out all the fingers perfectly. It is a great shape, great tight fit. Really like how this feels right out of the box. Again, on the G6 blocker and glove, the palms are entirely removable. On the G6.1, they are sewn in or laced in, but here it is entirely removable. So you can see the little tiny bits of Velcro across the back of the fingers. You see a little bit more on the inside here, across the outside of the hand. These palms are entirely removable, washable. If I wake up one morning and decide I want an XL palm in this blocker, I can purchase one and toss it in here, and the blocker is going to work exactly the same. It's just going to fit my hand a little bit more. But I really like how this has been fitting on the hand. I like the weight. I like the control. I like the new little beveled edge on the inside of the nose compared to the G5. I think this blocker is working out incredibly well, but for me, I think just with my user error and how much I use other sets of gear, this one is a little bit different for me to get used to. It's not as much as open the box, take it right out on the ice like I used to do. I really have to get used to this blocker, specifically because of the Coverage Plus. I'll talk about it a little bit more on the glove. On the leg pads, I do prefer it, but on the glove and blocker, it's a little bit different. But this is just a look at the Warrior G6 blocker. So now I want to talk about the G6.1 custom glove. Check it out. This is a Warrior G6.1 glove. I really like how this glove has opened up right out of the box. I really like how well it presents. It's not 100% my favorite glove yet, but it can be. And I'll talk about some of those things that I'm noticing here in this glove so far. So much like I was talking about with the blocker, on the glove you can get a G6 or G6.1. and that kind of determines the cuff size and where like the pocket kind of sits in relation to the puck. So in the G6.1, you're going to notice that the cuff is a little bit shorter right here. You're going to get a lot of pocket. On the G6, you're going to notice that the cuff is a little bit longer and the closure and the shape is a little bit different. I would consider that glove a little bit more 50-50, where you get half cuff, half pocket. On the G6.1, I'd argue closer to about a 70-30 split. We have about 30% cuff and about 70% pocket. So you're going to see how much it kind of sticks off the hand here as well. I really like how wide this glove opens, again, how well it presents, that coverage plus mentality of just how much the glove already sticks off of my hand. It's honestly sitting about 3 inches off of my hand right now, which again, with a blocker, it's great. For me, a little bit more of a user error, which is why you're seeing some weird puck marks across everything here. I'm kind of reaching out a little bit too far, not realizing that my glove and blocker are already there. I don't have to reach as much. So again, just something I kind of have to get used to with that. But on this glove here, I went with a senior palm, unlike the intermediate on the blocker. The reason why I did senior here is because I wanted a 90-degree palm, and I wanted a single T. But those are my two kind of things I needed to have in this glove here. But the intermediate palm does not come in a 90-degree angle, only comes in 75. So I kind of had to tighten up the internals a little bit across the back of the hand, get a little bit of wiggle room, but nothing too terrible that I cannot get used to. But that's what I did here. So on the 90-degree break, you're going to see how much this glove kind of starts to close upright, or how much pocket you're going to see just kind of next to the thumb or above the thumb. It's kind of making more of like that thumbs up feel. I know a lot of other people have said that this is Warrior's solution if you're using a 580 glove or a 90-degree break. If you want a 580 glove, check out True, check out CCM. That is a real 580 glove. Warrior makes a great 90-degree break glove. Is it 100% identical to a 580? No, that's not what Warrior's goal is here. They want to offer different breaks to people that can kind of help them transition from those manufacturers if they are using it. So for me, I love that 580 break, so I wanted that 90-degree glove, I wanted that palm, and I wanted that closure. So that's what I'm getting here. Is it 100% a copy? No way. That's why you have to go back to those companies if that's exactly what you want. But if you want a Warrior glove that's light, great closure, pretty sleek looking graphic, I'd say definitely check out the G6.1 here. But talking about the single T, you can see how much of lacing you can kind of see through here. So for me, I personally prefer seeing directly into the pocket. I'm just going to put the glove back on, but I like being able to kind of see directly into the pocket here. I like being able to, if the puck comes through, as I close it, I want to be able to look into the pocket and see the T here. I also, I want to be able to look through the lacing and see the puck in there. I also prefer the puck when it snaps against the T. I just think something like that sound works extremely well for me, just something I really prefer. I just like that look of the single T here. You'll kind of see it on a lot of the other gloves I've used in the past as well. Not that I hate double T's, but if I have the option to pick, I'm going to go with a single T here. So one of the other things I want to point out on this glove here is actually the backhand. So much like the leg pads with having that really hard material here, you're going to get that across the back of the hand. So I know that's really good for slashes if you're in RVH or you're in a very weird kind of position where you need to rotate your hand and you're kind of exposing the back of your fingers. You're getting a lot of coverage here. You're getting a lot of protection here, which I think for some of the other manufacturers, they offer a pretty soft foam here, but this is pretty hard. So it is a little bit stiffer. You kind of feel it across the back of the hands, like when you're putting your fingers in. Like I'm pressing my fingers back up and I'm kind of feeling it against here. So it's a little bit different, not something I've really needed to have here, but as you can see, I've gotten a few kind of puck marks across the back here. So I guess it's doing something to help me out here. But that's a quick look at the Warrior G6.1 glove. So I want to now run through some overall impressions of this set, and I'm going to talk about those here now. So for those that have known me for a few years now, I've used a lot of Warrior pads, glove blockers. I've even ordered some gloves to match other sets. I've really liked Warrior over the last probably 5 years. I think their service is phenomenal. The design that they have behind it, me knowing their reps personally, I think they are incredible human beings that go above and beyond to help not only the goaltender, but Warrior goaltending and Warrior goalies. However, for me on this set, I'm just not 100% in love with the Warrior G6 line. With the first set I used and now the second set I'm using, I don't know if it's something that I've done to the gear with some of the mods I have chosen. I don't know if someone should just hand me a stock set of 32 1.5s and say, Chris, shut up, just put these on and just tell me what you think. I don't know if I'm kind of over engineering or overthinking about these pads, but something about them just feels a little bit off for me. Like when I talked about the glove and blocker with having the coverage plus, I'm kind of overreaching towards pucks. They're bouncing off my hands a little bit weird. On the leg pads here, I ordered a 2.5-inch thigh rise, which is, I've always ordered 32+2s or 32 1.5. I know, just having an extra half-inch on the inside, or on the thigh rise, just sounds like it's not a huge deal. But for me, as soon as I opened the box and wore them on the ice, I immediately could tell that I was getting a pad that's a little bit bigger for me. So I know it's kind of tougher to see, but I'm getting some wear on the inside of thighs of both of the pads. And again, it's still a little bit tougher to see, but I'm actually getting all these white marks across the inside of the thigh rise, and that's actually from the other pad. As I'm dropping down, it's kind of overlapping and it's starting to almost make scratches across the inside. That's how I know that the pad is too big. Like I said, because I am getting this wear right here, I think that's just because I did order the pads a little bit taller, and it is messing with me a little bit too. Other thing I wanted to point out as well is when I had the first set of G6s, I ordered the one-piece core. Now on this one, I ordered the two-piece core, and it's still not quite the exact the flexibility or the shape that I'm looking for that I loved on my few sets of G5 pads. So it's still a little bit of getting used to these pads as well. But a lot of the pros are extremely stiff rebounds. I love when the pad seals extremely well to the ice. You can see some of those puck marks on the shin that I've sent over to the corner. I've really loved that. I think the seal on these pads is almost better than any of the other ones I'm using on the ice right now. I've had multiple people tell me that when I wear these and I drop down, that just visibly I am sealing the ice from the top here all the way down to the boot. So the seal is great. I have a really good slide. I think they're very comfortable to wear on the leg, other than just having this really harder leg channel here. It's just a little bit weird to kind of get used to. But overall, I think that they're a great pad. They're just not 100% my go-to right now. In terms of the glove and blocker, I think that they are done extremely well. Love the removable palm on the G6, or even on the G6 glove if I had that one. But on the G6.1 glove, it's still comfortable. They're light. They work very well, but just not 100% where I want them to be right now. But just kind of want to put over Warrior's customer service here real quick. I mean, in terms of the G6 pad, Warrior does some great custom options here. There's not many other companies that allow you to do ghosted logos. So this entire time there is a white Warrior logo right here. I did the embroidery in white. The G6 model hit down here is white. Even on the back of the thigh right here, I did the G6 by Smith logo in orange over orange, which is, not many manufacturers kind of let you hide what model their pad is or embroidery or things like that. But I think that Warrior kind of allows you to do that. And that's just another cool thing I wanted to mention here. In terms of their customer service, I've had great experience talking directly to Kirk, some of the other pro reps and some of the other people that have worked there that have answered my questions and been very honest about this entire G6 build process and how well it's been doing, a lot of feedback and sharing a lot of insight. So I can't thank them enough, especially Kirk Allen, who has gone above and beyond to not only help me, but to help out other Warrior goalies as well. But I just wanted to talk about a lot of that cool stuff here. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about the gear that I have. I am just very in tune with the gear that I do like to wear, and I've noticed a lot of positives and some negatives with this set, but I just wanted to point them out. So now that you have heard all about my experience with Warrior G6 pads, I want to hear from you guys down below what you think about Warrior and what you think about the Warrior G6 line. Would you use the slide plates? Would you choose the G6.1 glove? Would you choose the G6 glove? Please let me know what you think about that down below. My name is Chris Dudo, and I am the Goalie Gear Snob. Thanks for watching this video. I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and also rang that cute little Liberty bell for some notifications about what I upload to my channel. Please check me out on some of my other social outlets. Are going to be linked down below.